One of the most underrated elements of being a yoga teacher is consistency. The more consistent you are with your tone, your pace, and intensity, the more your students know more or less how they're going to feel when they practice with you and after class with you, the better. Listen to this conversation, why this is so important. Essentially, what I'm asking for is for teachers, especially in flow and hatha, to be consistent in the overall class feel. As a student, especially when you're only practicing once a week, twice a week, once a month, twice a month, you often want to know what you're going to get in class. If my 8 a.m. Saturday morning class sometimes is really hard and really fast and really intense. The pace is high, the intensity is high, but then the next week it's low. It's kind of like I'm doing more of a slower flow. And then the week after that, it's like a mid-tempo flow. It's going to be very hard for your students to know what they're getting.
Hmm.
And where I think as teachers, we always want to have a certain amount of creative freedom is sequencing and focus. But where we should have an extreme amount of consistency is the overall feel that a student's going to have.
It sounds to me, and I could be wrong, but it sounds to me that one of the number one determinants of getting to this place is time on the job and figuring out your own pace, tone, and intensity.
Yes. But you have to know that I think the easiest thing for me to do is to put it in the seat of the student. So if I'm going to you, okay, you've been teaching for a year, and Andrea, I'm coming to your class. Maybe you're going to focus more on arm balances. Maybe you're going to focus more on back bends. Maybe you're going to focus on a general all-around flow. You have an incredible amount of discretion and freedom in terms of what you want to teach, but I'm going to want my overall outputs to kind of feel the same.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to teach arm balances, that's fine. If you want to teach forward bends and twists, that's fine. If you want to teach back bends, that's fine. But I want to know that I'm going to effort a certain consistent amount,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to feel a certain particular way, right?
So you're thinking about the outcome.
I'm thinking about the outcome. I'm thinking about the students. I'm thinking about the student getting a certain quotient of consistent physicality.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't have to be a ton. Like it doesn't mean every class has to be hard. It doesn't mean every class has to be easy. It means that your student should be able to easily identify when I go to an Andrea class, I feel like X.
Mm-hmm.
And Andrea can focus on hip strengthening, or Andrea can focus on deeper back bends. It doesn't matter
Mm-hmm.
because I know that in that class and after that class, I'm going to have a certain consistent experience.
Right. But don't you think that comes from
Yes.
knowing yourself over time as a teacher?
Knowing yourself over time as a teacher, but I didn't understand that this was even a concept.
Okay.
Right? So this is like all of these things are skills and wisdom and bits of advice to grow into over time.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the reasons that I think that this is so important is because I'll say it this way. One of the first studios, groups of studios that started to ask me to come teach workshops for them were Baptiste studios. And I would walk into a Baptiste studio in Seattle, and I would see a group full of people that had normalized a certain amount of intensity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a feel to that Baptiste world, like there's a certain intensity.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't a Baptiste teacher, but I would feel to myself, I need to connect to them
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like if I give them a similar physicality to what they are used to, they will give me their attention to focus on X, Y, or Z.
Mhm.
That it's an actual relationship.
Mm.
And that if I didn't give them a physicality that they were used to, they weren't going to listen to me.
It would space out.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I wasn't meeting them where they are. As yoga teachers, it's essential that we maintain our own creative spark and that we allow ourselves to grow, change, and evolve over time. And it's so important that we give our students a consistent experience that they can know, savor, and trust. If you want to listen to more tips about how, especially in the first 5 years of teaching yoga, you can really thrive and connect with your students, listen to the linked episode, the full podcast episode. And as always, thanks for practicing. Thanks for listening. Please like and subscribe, comment your thoughts below. Thanks, everybody.